What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I have some new news concerning Tyson Fury, Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, and a channel of the LDB to the C. Now, I was listening to Dante's Boxing Nation, and he was mentioning Eddie Hearn as he stated about the, he was talking about the possibility of Anthony Joshua dropping all the belts. If you drop one, you might as well drop all, which, Dante, commented, and he stated that that's a stupid idea, which I agree. It's counterproductive. It is. It's really counterproductive. I mean, if that's the case, why would you even fight Pulev? If you were going to turn around and then drop every belt, everything you've worked for, you turn around and give it up just for one fighter that may or may not fight. Okay, we know that. However, there is a twist to this. Now, as far as Dante is concerned, he thinks and he believes that Tyson Fury is going to turn around and drop that belt. Well, Eddie Hearn said that about his fighter, that he's willing to drop all the belts, but then by default, he would have to be talking about Tyson Fury dropping the belts too, in order for the belts all to go to wherever they're going to go. And the sanctioning bodies, they know where to go, because Eddie Hearn is in a situation, he's like, why would we pay over $1 million for a step aside on top of all the fees and just drop all the politics all together and just fight? Well, you have to ask yourself this question. If they were going to do that, and Tyson Fury decided to do that, it would be a straight up boycott for all the belts. It would be empowering, but at the same time, it would be, if you were to want all the belts and only to turn around and say, you know what, I don't want them no more. Something had to happen, right? Something had to happen along the lines of, maybe you don't want the belts because maybe you've spoken to someone or someone convinced you that the belts aren't that important anymore. So who could talk Anthony Joshua, right? A guy that's been after these belts since he wanted to start, into dropping all the belts like Eddie Hearn is saying? That's the question you ask yourself. Well, who has been to Great Britain lately? Floyd Mayweather. What did Floyd Mayweather say about a month ago? You guys remember that? There's too many belts in the sport of boxing. There's too many belts. These guys, they have these belts so you can pay sanctioning fees and taxes. And he chit-chatted with Anthony Joshua for a long time, and you remember it, as you can recall, that when they really powwowed, it was after Anthony Joshua fought Pulev. That was after he made the announcement about fighting whoever has the WBC. Maybe there is a link to this.
Ricardo, come see me at the pickup.
Now, it's one of those things where maybe this is a possibility, guys, just like it's a possibility of him dropping the belts, says Eddie Hearn. There's a possibility that Floyd Mayweather told Anthony Joshua, belts don't make him. You're already a legend in your own right. You've been a unified champion. You're a two-time unified champion. How much of a champion do you have to be to really figure out you don't need these belts to be considered a champion? You have a heart of a champion. Why would you need to get one belt that, hey, is corrupted anyway? You know what I mean? Why would you need the WBC when you know the WBC really needs you in retrospect? Because it ain't about the belt. It's about the fighter that represents the belt. But without the belt, you'll still have the fighter. Right? So these type of things possibly could have went down because Mayweather just mentioned that there are too many belts in the sport of boxing. Now, what Floyd didn't say, he didn't say that the belts don't matter, but he did say in the past, a belt don't make me. So he might have preached that same sermon to Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua looks up to Pretty Boy Floyd. Floyd Money Mayweather. Right? I was in the wrong decade. Right? So, when Floyd talks about that type of stuff, he's going to listen. and take it for cash value. And just maybe that's why Eddie Hearn has recommended that they can or suggest taking all the belts, because they won't be forced or pushed or garnished into fighting Usyk and then have to pay Usyk for not fighting him. If they want to fight this guy for an all-British showdown, it will be an all-British showdown. But here's another question. Will it even be in Britain? Will the showdown even be in Britain? It might not even be in Britain at all. You see what I mean? It might be in Saudi Arabia with just 2 British fighters. But what would the fighters represent? The fighters would represent that they're both champions. You know, one's still undefeated, which is Tyson Fury. Now, Tyson Fury, I don't think will have any problem doing that, because he doesn't look at the belts. And I think he got the memo from Floyd that the belts really don't make him and the belts really don't matter. He said it himself. Maybe, again, Floyd has preached the same doctrine to Anthony Joshua. So if Anthony Joshua, guys, says and gets in line with Eddie Hearn, don't be surprised, because you've heard it here first. Okay, that's the theory. That's the possibility of that happening. Floyd's probably already told Anthony Joshua, look, you got millions of dollars. Break the reel. Break the will. How do you do that? Give up all the damn belts. Let somebody else fight for them. Make yourself bigger than the belts. Your name is your brand. Your brand is what counts, not the belts. You've had all the belts except for one. But even if you have them, what does it really matter? Does it hurt your brand? Does it stop a super fight from happening? No, it doesn't. But that's what's trying to happen. A particular sanctioning body is trying to stop a bigger fight that concerns other belts from happening. Right? So if that does happen, blame the WBO. Because Paco Valcárcel did not want to get in line with unification trumps mandatories. He didn't want to get in line. And that just goes to show you what does that mean for mandatories versus unifications. Because unifications trump mandatories. That's only if, though, that person that is mandatory is okay with being, he has to agree still. Because if he does not agree, he still will be a problem. That's what we have today. Because guess what? We have 4 belts. No, we have 3 other belts. No. Yeah, we have 3 other major belts on the line. 4 total. But 3 other belts. Now, if you want to count the Ring Magazine and the Lineal belt, we have 5. Yeah, go again. Right? But we have 3 major other belts that are on the line for unifications between 2 champions, and they're both from the UK. So if this WBO belt is the problem, they're going to eliminate the problem. But I can tell you this. Mayweather talking to Anthony Joshua, convincing Anthony Joshua to give up the belts, right? After Anthony Joshua has already said, hey, I'll fight whoever for the WBC, is more likely than Deontay Wilder getting his shot and the fight can't happen because of that. Because obviously, because there's another way you look at it. If the fight was just going to happen, if the fight wasn't going to happen, let's say that, between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, if it wasn't going to happen, let me pause. If Deontay Wilder was set in stone to fight Tyson Fury and he had that contract set in stone, he wouldn't be talking about other fighters to fight. He wouldn't be talking about Dillian White. He wouldn't be talking about Anthony Joshua. He wouldn't be talking about any of those guys. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this particular video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.